Hello and welcome to the Nordic Takedown podcast. This is Jason, the Captain Kirk. I hope you are all very, very well this Thursday morning. I am here today with Viktor. How you doing, Viktor?
I am tired but happy.
Excellent. And our returning guest, friend of the podcast, Moose Pack member. I don't know what else we can call you. We have Jakob, also known as Jakob. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing well. I'd like to quote a friend of mine who said that he was tired but happy. So
I was there.
Yeah,
I was there when that happened. When that quote happened.
Yeah.
I'm
good. I'm good.
It was good. Awesome, excellent. Well, good to have you on here. We today, everybody, we are going to be talking about the Galactic Championships and increasing my FOMO of the whole event. I had no chance of even getting there. We were moving house, so and I was cutting a hedge while you guys were playing Star Wars. So that was my weekend while you guys were.
You didn't watch us?
Yeah, I will do you know what? I am proud of this hedge.
You should be.
It was completely overgrown, grass growing up through it and everything, and it's now half the size, half the weight. This hedge has gone on a diet.
Yeah.
Oh,
there I was, getting my ass handed to me on stream, and you weren't even watching.
No, I wasn't, and I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Hey, somebody needs to take care of the galaxy while everybody's competing.
Yeah,
exactly. Yeah. No, we that happened for me, but you guys can up the FOMO in my life and make me really kind of want to go next year. So we can do that. But before we have our Cantina catch up, what have you guys been up to? Jakob, what have you been doing since you were last on, or how have you been doing? What apart from the Galactic Championships? What Star Wars stuff have you been doing recently?
Yeah, there was sort of a natural detox of SWU post Galactics for me. I have been to the
family induced.
Yeah. It was you're sort of on the minus pages on the logbook when you come home from a trip like that. So it's been a lot of I haven't been cutting hedges, but I've been cutting a lot of grass, and I've been painting and doing sort of house chores. But a little bit of Star Wars detox, but that only lasted probably through the jet lag, and then back to brewing decks.
Yeah. So wait, you don't have a robot lawnmower?
Oh no,
not yet. You even Swedish?
Yeah. My garden is, it was turned upside down during my renovation last year. So, there's not a lot of grass to cut, but there is some. And it would have been silly to have a robotic gardener. But,
we can save this chat for my new podcast, the Swedish renovation podcast.
I'd love to join. You have to learn some stuff.
I know we're paying a load of guys to do it this time. We're not. I'm not touching a hammer this time.
Well done.
But that's cool. So you're starting to brew a few decks and get some ideas. And
there's been a detox, but then obviously I've got clearance to go to Malmö. So already up to the plus pages on the book again. So full focus on brewing decks again.
Love it. Talking like a true family man. You've got clearance.
And Malmö is just a train ride south for me. It's not even. But yeah. So
cool.
That's going to be amazing. Good. And Swiss. I've said it before. The last time I was on, it's such a good game. It's keeping its grasp on you. So even when you're in full jet lag mode, Viktor was streaming all day through a jet lag. He's a crazy person. He'll talk about that in a bit. But back to brewing decks. I always find myself post tournament to be in jank mode, so that usually brings out the sort of tiredness to try to find what broken combos haven't people found. Can we find something? So there's been a lot of Thrawn in my deck, in my deck brain.
New or old?
New. new.
Yeah.
So there's been a lot of that for me.
We can talk through. We should do an episode just on Thrawn. I've got at least 4 Thrawn decks put together.
Yeah.
2 new, 2 old.
But yeah, that's been it for me. But now
awesome.
we'll focus on Malmo. So yeah.
Excellent. Please tell me you're going to bring Thrawn.
We'll see. We'll see if I can break it.
Cool, Victor. What have you been doing? Like you've been busy. You've been flying the TNT flag.
Yeah. No, right after the Galactics, we went touring the US a bit. Most of the Swedish contingent that went over, we actually stayed on for a week. Only you, Jakob, went home. The rest of us went touring the West a bit. Doing our best Lucky Lukes, which is a reference that only Europeans will get.
Doing your best
Lucky Lukes. So
Lucky Luke.
Yeah, so that's a French comic that was spread all over Europe, and we're not counting the UK.
I had no idea what that was.
He's known for shooting quicker than his own shadow.
Yeah.
I see.
So it's same guys that made the artists that made Asterix also made.
Yeah.
So it's one of those French things that you spread all over Europe. Yeah. Really cool though. We saw all these weird natural formations, rock formations in the Red Rocks and Zion and the Grand Canyon and all of that. And being a bit outdoorsy, I really enjoyed that.
Nice.
Most of the people I travel with are not as outdoorsy as I am. So I had limited access to actually exploring these environments, but still, it was really cool. Obviously we did play a lot of SWU as well, because all of us were SWU people. So we played a bit and we went around road tripping, staying in Airbnbs and just having a great time. And as I got back, I was suffering severe jet lag. I kind of got over it this weekend, I guess. But went straight back to work the day after, more or less, after I landed. And then this weekend, I got to stream for us together with Late Night Gaming and the Bobby Network. We put on a stream for the Madison, Wisconsin PQ, and that was great stuff.
That was really good. I tuned into most of the stuff that you commented on during my waking hours.
Yeah. No, I really enjoyed that. Got to cast again with Jeff Creasy. It's just tremendous announcer. He's really good at it. Love casting with that guy.
Did the Sea Raptor?
No. Jeff Creasy's.
Jeff. Yes, yeah.
He helped us with the Norwegian PQ, the first Norwegian PQ. He's just a tremendous guy. Really, really
good. He's very good.
Yeah. And then I did do one round with Wes, which was also awesome.
I watched that actually. The replay of that. Yeah,
love Wes. He's such a great guy. And then at the end, got Loopy was actually playing the tournament, but he didn't make the top cut, so he just went straight home. He lives, I guess, not too far from the venue. So as soon as he got him home, he just popped into the stream and started commentating. So got to do at least one round with Loopy as well. Love that man. He's also awesome. So yeah, I had a great time. Obviously it was quite late by the time because of time difference, but it's just I enjoy it so much. So that's what I've been doing outwards. Then also, like Jakob, I'm in full brew for Malmo, testing decks, trying to figure out the meta, trying to figure out what to bring, and I'm not. I am. It feels like I'm back at square one. It's so frustrating. It's like I had figured out what I wanted to bring to Galactics. Finally, like whittling down the options. Got a deck. Was really happy with my choice as well. I was really happy.
What did you play? I know we're going to get into this a bit later.
So I was the only Nordic Takedown representing the Nordic Takedown deck. So I brought our boy Anakin and
Anakin Blue.
and it really worked for me in all the matchups I thought it was going to work. And then I had a couple of terrible matchups that I were hoping to dodge. And when I couldn't dodge them, well, we get into that.
Yeah, we're getting to that later. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah.
But now it's like I'm there with all the options again. It's all wide open. So I don't know what to bring.
It feels a little bit like we've already started to go into the PQ season, right? We've had, I think there were just a couple of ones the weekend right, the Gen Con weekend right after Galactics, but now there was a bunch this last weekend. So, and there's been, I don't think there's been more than like 2 or 3 leaders that have multiple wins.
No,
it's so diverse now, and it's
so wide open.
Really weird as well, because you know, for Galactics, it seemed like people had really been seeing, Han 2 obviously as, the deck to, the monster to beat, and then people had figured out some answers to it. Talking Town was really good in general, and then, sort of all of these decks who were targeted towards that.
Yeah.
But now...
But the pressure of the Galactics is gone now, so people obviously go, I guess, really trying the big decks that we saw, especially in day 2, day 3. They were the ones that people were sure were going to do well, and they'd really been trying. They were, I guess, sure things almost. But now the pressure's off. We're hitting the lab.
Yeah, but I think also like the idea got into some people's heads, and it was just snowballing from there that Han 2 was the be all end all, and that was just not my experience in testing. I didn't agree with that, but since that was the prevalent thought process, everyone had to everything was revolving around, am I bringing Han 2 or am I trying to beat Han 2?
Yeah.
And as we can see in the Galactics, the ones that brought something to beat Han 2 were the ones that did really well. But now that ghost is gone from everyone's mind. People aren't thinking of Han 2 as the end-all be-all of decks. So, well, then bringing something that beats the thing that beats Han 2. Bringing something like... Obviously, there are a couple of decks that were really good into Han 2, but those decks have weaknesses, which makes the meta just explode.
Which is sort of, it's really funny because it's sort of this multi-dimensional rock, paper, scissors thing in the meta right now, because it seemed like it should be, Han 2... It still has these amazing puzzle pieces of, Grogu is broken sometime. You've got Kiadimundi, which is just stupid, and you can do it one round earlier. Like, you got all of these things who are still very, very good. And when that deck doesn't become targeted anymore, it becomes on top again. So I just think it's really interesting where we are in the season right now, because I'm not saying it's in the meta right now, because I don't think there is, we don't have it yet. We don't know where it is.
It's a big chance. I talked about this on the stream that we get into something similar to what we had at the end of set 4, where every weekend is a new meta. Every weekend, without anything actually changing, just like the perceptions change, and that changes the meta.
Which is, it's a really nice place to be in, because then people can turn up and play the things they like to play, practice the thing they like to play, and do okay with it, and do hopefully quite well, and have fun playing their favorite deck, rather than I have to play control here now because I don't want to go home and have no wins. So the meta's this.
I'm so sorry. This is not the time for Chewy Yellow. I know you want to, but it's not.
Did you know, every time I'm building a deck, I'm thinking Chewy Yellow. I was even doing it yesterday. Like I had a Chewy Blue in JTL, which struggled against other control. And people said, "Well, bring in Bazine or whatever her name is." And I was just thinking, like, I've got a chewy yellow thing from set 3,
Yeah.
and I just can't think of what to do to make it. It's just not there. It just can't do it. But
It's not.
next set, I'm hoping that set 6 is his last chance saloon. Is going there. But I've got the cards to put my chewy blue together.
Yeah.
As well, because that was actually pretty. And there actually is a really fun spaceship. I think it's Ahsoka's spaceship. I can't remember what it's actually called, the T4 or T14 or something like that, where it's like a 3 cost, and then you get an experience every time people attack into it. And if it's a Sentinel, they have to attack into it. And so that's actually a really good Chewy card. And so I'm rethinking around the deck around that card. Now, this has been my head for the last few days.
Yep.
Anyway, but my point was, before we took that little Chewy sideboard, what was it all? Yeah, it's like, people can turn up and play the thing they like to play, or the style they like to play, and don't have to play into the meta the whole time, because you don't know what you're going to be turning up. I mean, it's not like set 1 where it went from aggro into control into mid-range and then back again. It was almost predictable at what stage of the season you're in, what you can kind of bring. But now there's so many cards that you can take what you like to play, but you've got to be good at it, and you've got to rep it, and you've got to know your deck and know the weaknesses and prep for the matchups and stuff.
I think I agree very much with that, and I think I really like when the meta becomes sort of heavy mid-range in this game, it really opens up for a lot of different decks, because it doesn't mean that control is not prevalent. It doesn't mean that aggro is not great. It means that it opens up for a very diverse way of playing this game. What I really like as well, which is not something that I thought I was going to say, but credit to the designers, is that they have created some cards that sort of give you a way to deal with certain decks that become really good. I mean, we've known for a long time that Bombing Run is good against space decks. However, it doesn't break space decks, because now the Vader for yellow, players, they have ways to work with that, because obviously you've got Viktor leader, but you can main deck Lurking TIE Phantom, you can also run 7th Fleet Defender, you can work with stuff that doesn't really get bothered by a Bombing Run. And then you look at the new Kylo decks, both from Tarkin Town to ECL to Data Vault, where everybody is saying, okay, let's sideboard 2 or 3 of the aggravated what is it called? The
parliamentarian.
I was going to make that point before,
that
I'm seeing a lot of that right now.
It is you can sort of, when you just glance at the card, you can say, right, that just breaks all of the Kylo decks, but that's not true. It absolutely does not, because a Kylo deck
now Kylo can just run pillage.
Well, you can run pillage, but you can also just make sure that if you know, or if you've seen that card, you're just prolonging the game and baiting and seeing, when does he play it? When does it come?
Yeah.
Do I really need to force all of my good cards in my discard pile before he does that? Yeah. Like a good Kylo control player can prolong the game and maybe do it later. So, I mean, what I really like, and what I want to say with that, to end that note, is just, I like that they've created cards which potentially can solve certain things in the meta. However, it doesn't just break those decks.
No. Yeah. And there isn't almost an answer to everything, which is nice. And when there wasn't an answer to everything, they dealt with it.
Yeah, exactly.
So Han 1 yellow with DJ, Boba, Django,
the stuff that was weirdly designed at the first place, and they realized
that. Exactly, and they put their hands up and said, we messed up with Boba, we messed up with the first Boba. Django, it was, we didn't realize how strong it would be, because the players are really good at building decks. So that's where we got. And actually kind of going on a little bit about what I've been doing just recently with with the game, because you guys have talked about what you've done recently, and now it's my turn. Finally, at the weekend, I thought I'm going to sit down with my kid and sort through my Legends of the Force cards and everything. So I actually got him sorting out the colours and putting them in there. We made piles and stuff and kind of had a table each and doing this together. So really good father-son time, which was really good. And we helped sort and put stuff into the files and stuff. And I was going through the cards thinking, oh wow, this is good. This is good. What could I build around this? What could I build around this card? How can I make, Shin Hati and what's his name? Her master, Balin.
Yeah, Balin.
Yeah. What can we do with a yellow villainy? What works best with this? Who's the best leader? Those kind of thoughts going through. And then I found, testing for one of the previous sets, I actually put together a Django Tarkin Town deck that was just the meta deck just to play against, and everything. And then he got banned, and I've just had that deck laying around. And so last night I kind of put it out on the table and said, okay, what can we pull out? And actually I just, switch in the new Boba leader, make it a bit more space. And I realized that there's actually nothing on SWODB recently in the last sort of where people have actually focused on the Boba yellow, the new Boba thing.
Pilot
and
Boba.
Going, actually, the pilot Boba ones, actually, there's actually a little bit of spice coming out of the new set that can make that a bit stronger. The new the Vader pilot. No, that was from previous set. Sorry, but there's a droid that can ping the legendary droid HK something.
Yep.
Things like I was just finding this is really interesting, and just taking the enjoyment of that journey of just going through that, and I end up just kind of updating 10 of my decks to the new stuff, just so I got something to play with Yuan, who is kind of my local SWU friend now. We met up last Thursday, played a little bit, and I played again. I played my Kylo Ren deck because I bought the Kylo Showcase, and bid my version of it, and it wasn't very good. I hadn't even put in the Force throws, etc., etc. And then he picked up my Kanan Jarrus deck, which I literally just built the week after it released. And it was like, what is this? I was like, I don't know, I just put it together. I was like, I really need to update these with the actual good decks that actually work together. So I now have 10 of them. So but just going through and exploring, actually, well, they've done this, but actually I want to do this. And the exploration time, the labbing and the theory crafting, this is the fun of the game. And so I've actually been, my head's been very much through the last few days since sorting out my cards.
It's one of the best times when a new set releases, and you just get your own time at looking at the cards and go in fresh maybe, and don't look at reviews, don't look at what other people hype cards, and then you're like, what about this card? How can we make this card really good?
Yeah. So I am pretty much solid really into Malma game week casting preparation mode, and trying to understand. And I know it's gonna, I'm not going to know all the decks, but I'm the main caster on day one. I'm going to be exhausted, and more I think I'm getting FOMO here as well. Like, oh man, I want to play now. I want to play. I just let the stream run again and hop in. But that's going to be really, really good, Malma, if people haven't booked their tickets yet. I think we're hitting 80 on the tickets there as well. The playmat that we've designed with Malma Game Week has been spoiled as well. So you see what we're getting. And so Jonah and I put a lot of work into that. Jonah's put a huge amount of work into that we've been doing there. And then I've tidied up a few bits and putting a few shooting stars and stuff in there and making it good enough to print. So we've worked pretty hard to make that go. And I think it's a pretty decent thing going. So you get to go there. And you'll even get champion versions, winners, top 8, top 16 versions as well. So, it's a reason to go on and do that. And it's only going to be available for this event. So it is going to be very much exclusive there, so get your tickets there. But that's in a month. We're going to rewind a little bit and talk about the Galactics, and hopefully have a few more meta conversations when we talk about the games, because that was quite an interesting little conversation we had there. But you guys went to the Galactics. How is America right now?
we
you want to start,
found
Viktor?
we found a life
in the non-political sense.
No,
this is not the time or place.
But we found a little life hack as a European. Like I've traveled to US a fair bit, and I bet you have as well, Jakob. And going through the TSA as a European, it's being used to traveling being so easy between countries in Europe. And then you encounter the TSA and the lines you have to stand in, and the very interesting questions you have to answer. Like that's a hassle. But we flew through Canada, and apparently Canadians get a much easier way into the US. Like, I've never had such an easy TSA because we did it in Canada. Like we had the TSA check in the Canadian airport in Toronto, and they asked basically like, why are you going to the US? And leisure. All right, see ya. Yeah, okay, but all the terrorism and all that you want to ask me about, and like if I have
cavity searches
and all the other stuff, no, just go.
Wow, cool.
So it was a bit of a detour.
You go through, pick up some donuts.
Yeah, it was
on the way through.
detour, but the lines were running a lot smoother than when you're coming directly from Europe to an American airport, because that's not smooth.
There we go. If anyone's looking for that way into the US, you heard it here first.
Yep.
Well,
so that's what America is like right now, and also very warm. We had a lot of them degrees. They use that weird degree thing based on the ass temperature. Like, seriously though, like the Fahrenheit scale was made up by a veterinarian, so it's based on the temperature in a cow ass. Yep. That's the actual truth. It's not, I'm not making this shit up. Like, Celsius was a physician, like not a physician, like he's a physicist. So he based his system on water boiling and freezing. Whereas the American system, the Fahrenheit system, is based on the regular temperature in the ass of the cow. I'm just saying, one of these systems seems less stupid.
Yeah,
I just want to know. I have one follow-up question to that, Viktor. Can you tell me which is the perfect temperature for a cow's ass?
Apparently, like 20 degrees Fahrenheit or something like that. It's like,
isn't it? Okay,
it's not 0.
100.
But yeah, I was going to say, what is 0? What's their 0? What is their 0? Like,
I think the 0 is still freezing water or something like that, and then the cow ass is 100. I don't know. I 50. I don't know. It's just stupid. It's so stupid. It's just so stupid.
Is this where you get all of the drops of the subscribers of the podcast?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I'm going to be so distracted this episode. I'm just going to think of cow's ass.
I don't care about switching to metric system in the US for like meters or feet or miles or that. You can have all that stupid stuff. That's a foot isn't more stupid than a rod in the museum in France. But the temperature, guys, you guys, you got to get your shit together.
Yeah. So not less than 2 weeks ago, I was outside, just outside Varberg in Sweden. There's a lighthouse and there's a big field of cows. Jakob, this is where you're from, so you must know where this is. And so the kids could go up and they stroke the cows and stuff. They were quite calm. But all of a sudden we heard like running water turn around, and a cow was weeing. And then we turn around, we're like boom, 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 and it's just. So you're talking about cow's ass. I've got the images recently of seeing what comes out of a cow's ass.
Well, so
How
By
do
the
I-
way,
how do I-
for those guys who are wondering about why we haven't put the explicit tag in here, is like arse is not a swear word in Swedish.
No.
So we're getting it that way. And actually, it's another name for a donkey. If there we go.
Just a
So,
Victor said the S word 10 times in this rant.
Who would know? Like
Anyway.
again, it's the stuff that comes out of the cows.
I missed that.
Yeah, nobody heard that.
So that was the heat. The heat in
There
America
were
can be compared to a cow's ass.
There were lots of
Cool.
heat in America. We had a warm time.
There was a lot of cow's asses in America.
sure.
That's what it was. I flew through. I didn't fly through Canada. I flew. I was in Seattle for a few days before going down to Vegas.
Oh yeah.
So I was there for work, and it was my first experience of Seattle, and it's for the people in the Nordics. It's very much the same temperature. So there was let's jump over the comparisons, but it's less of those asses up there. But then, but then I went back. I went down to Vegas, and it was like running into multiple walls of cow's asses. It was terrible. It was absolutely terrible, heat wise.
Yeah.
But yeah, we were indoors for 99% of the time. As you are, air conditions. You don't even need to walk out on the outside. You can take
no sunlight, no
sunlight. As we do as card gamers, we don't like outside. We could have been in your basement, Jason. For all it's worth.
Unfortunately, I don't have a basement actually.
Okay.
Well,
if you would have had, and you would have fit 2,000 people, we could have been in your basement.
Yeah.
Nice.
But no, we were in something that looks very much like an aircraft hangar or something.
Yeah.
It was
like
the
place was
crazy.
So big.
Yeah. I mean, you get a TIE fighter in there.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
for sure.
It looked small. It was a life-size TIE fighter, life-size X-wing. They had the cockpit of the Millennium Falcon. We have some action shots of me and Jakob steering that.
I wanted to be Chewie, but I think you were Chewie.
I got the Chewie seat. Yeah.
I mean, if you were as beardy as you are now, then it's better,
So and those things looked small in there. It was like, if you look at it for a person like me that likes going to conventions and like all that stuff, for me that was heaven. Like, just when you enter the thing, it looked amazing. They've built up all these areas in this huge place. You had like a place to sit and chill in beanbags watching the stream. You had the vendors over in another area with selling cards and memorabilia and just things connected to Star Wars. And then you had like the huge area where you could play both the main events and the side events and all the playing, and that area was just enormous, like tables upon tables upon tables.
Yeah, so Jason, you can if you can imagine,
that's amazing.
Yeah, if you can imagine this place to be like split in half into two, and then one half of it was just the competitive thing. But the competitive thing were like you had seats for 2,000 people plus the side events. So you had like there's surely, Victor, there was like seats for 2,500 people playing card games for half of that.
Enough. Because during the day one event, there were 1,950 people that registered for the first event, and I think there must have been probably upwards of 1,000 people playing side events.
Yeah.
Wow.
Because there were people traveling there, Jason, for not playing in the main events.
Like when we sat down, like the main event pairing rounds, it did not take up more than maybe 80 or 60, 80% of the tabling space. That's all it took up. The rest was the side events.
Yeah, and in that same area, you had the prize wall. You also had like a cafeteria or a cantina there as well.
Yeah,
and tables where just round tables where people could sit and chill. And then the other half was the stuff that Victor was telling you about the Connect area, play. They had miniatures for people to play. They had like a Lego bricks for like kids to build
Oh,
stuff,
nice. Yeah.
and sort of
The
areas
artist
to just hang out.
alley, where
Artist
the
alley,
artist was
feature
sitting.
Yeah.
designers, the tables for
Yeah, I mean, seeing the convention stuff and the TIE fighter, I was just like, oh man, that was some of the really big FOMO stuff that was getting me. Is like, oh man, just to be there and kind of be up close to some of this stuff that you just like to see, you know, how big is a TIE fighter compared to me, or you know, because a TIE fighter is a little ball, but like even an X-wing, the cockpit's tiny.
Yeah.
For example,
Yeah.
and I was thinking, like, you're in the middle of space and you're in this tiny little cockpit. So, like, I get claustrophobia just thinking about it, but I just kind of want to see what it roughly is.
Yeah.
But one of the funny things about the X-wing, I think Adam was telling me this, that he was reading on the sign that it was, these things were fan built, of course, by different groups of people, right?
It's not actually real. These things didn't fly in space.
We don't know. We didn't see them arrive or leave.
We're not sure.
But the X-Wing, apparently it premiered at the Stockholm Gen Con.
Oh, really?
So that X-Wing, the first time it was actually live on set. The Comic-Con of Stockholm Comic-Con, of course.
Nice.
So it's funny.
Yeah.
That's cool.
To me,
cool. The Swedish X-Wing.
The coolest thing when I came in there, the thing that really caught my eye was the stage. So at the very end of the compete area where all the tables were, they had a huge stage with like a really cool looking like backdrops and like stage building and like full lights and what you would find at a rock concert. Like it was so well done, and you had all these TV cameras, like a full TV production of cameras and lights and everything. I think that was probably the most underutilized part of the whole thing, because they didn't actually use the stage to address the room, which I thought they would have done. They did have a planned out opening ceremony, but that just fizzled, and there were
probably for time restraints,
I guess, or I think they were in that time. They were in full panic mode over the whole event ticket thing that we're going to talk a little bit on in a bit. But they were probably completely stressed out about that, and having run out of the event tickets earlier the day before. So they were probably just in a full panic mode trying to find a way to solve that. That's my headcanon on why the opening ceremony completely fizzled. But with that kind of stage, being able to address the room for like, I think like they should have probably put the panel where they talked about the future of organized play. Why was that not on the big stage?
I don't understand how that was an exclusive. It was an exclusive thing which we didn't. We were the last ones there, or the first ones to not get in. Like they stopped and said the room is full. So it was in another room in this hotel, and it fitted 500 people or something like that. And I don't
think
know
that
why.
I think it was much less than 500. I think it was like 100. It
was
a
bit weird.
quite smaller room, where with the information that clearly is interesting to everyone that actually attends. We were interested to go this time. Why wouldn't we be interested in knowing about the future of this?
It was
silly.
It was a bit weird how they put lots of. But one thing that I heard about was that the stage thing was not FFG. The stage thing was Lucasfilm.
Yeah, same with all the TIE fights and everything. That was all Lucasfilm that arranged that. But they arranged it for FFG. Like,
of course.
One thing that was taking place at the stage all of the time, I actually were there, was the stream. So the stage was for the stream tables.
Yeah, but it's sort of you can sort of understand when you dig into the different parts of this venue. Like this was Lucasfilm, this was Asmodee, this was FFG. So there were these like mixed of different things. But one thing that one of the reflections that I have was with what you're saying, Victor, is that they really underutilize this I mean, it was a rock concert stage with
Yeah, it was
live,
amazing.
like it was these moving screens, and it was absolutely
Yeah.
crazy how they built this up. It's weird that, when you look at FFG, you know that they have people like community managers, they have the head of studio, you have like I mean, I'm not going to put any shadow on anybody, but just saying none of those people are rock stars. So like none of them were really looking for the stage. So to me, it would have been probably a good idea to just, get somebody else in there, drive the show, let
But
somebody be the moderator of
Okay.
this from the stage or whatever.
yeah, but they
just
do.
host the big event.
Yeah,
and,
exactly.
yeah.
But they do put on the stage show at Gen Con every year, and has for what 15, 20 years they've had this stage show, like the
flight report,
in-flight report,
the in-flight
Yeah,
report.
yeah.
yeah. They do that every year, so they do know how to do
Yeah.
this. That should have been at that stage at Galactics. It's so obvious that's what
I mean,
done.
they could also have been like, how much effort or how much do we want to invest in this? Because if Lucasfilm had the big stage,
Again,
then they would have had to have,
it was already
I guess,
there.
paid for technical.
Yeah.
It's already there.
We don't
but
know
then
what
it's like,
Lucasfilm
who does.
Yeah.
Who owns which stage, which technicians,
But they
who's
were
doing
using it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, but there's
They used it for the card game.
Oh, yeah, sure. Or it was like they just underestimated how many people would actually want to go to this, when you could pick it up later and pick all the information up later, when actually people did want to go to it, and then they just now we know next year this could be on a bigger
If they
bigger
want to
stage.
make this a big celebration of the game and
Yeah.
hobby, they should address the room, which they did not. There was no addressing the room, not really. And they should put on the show for the people in the room, so that those people that are in the room feel that they are experiencing something together, like as a whole, as you would do when you're at a rock concert or something.
Yeah.
That
And I
communal
100%
experience was one of the things that were lacking. We had lots of interaction,
Yeah.
but we had no communal experience where everyone experienced the same thing at the same time.
Okay, so like the start of the main competition, like for example, if we look at like how Matthias does it at Manitorsh, which I think is really good, and you address all the players all at once and just say, okay, this is how we're going to go, best of 3. This is how we do this. Judge tables over here. I'm a judge. These are the judges. Etc. Was there anything like
Yeah, there
that
was.
at the
But
start?
that guy was standing in the middle of the tables. He was standing among the tables talking to everyone. 2,000 of us. So most of us didn't even see him. And
did he have a microphone?
Yeah, they had
He must
microphones.
have.
You
Yeah, it
heard
was
him.
terrible. It was
You
terrible
heard
in the
him.
beginning, but it
It got better. But it was hard to hear him. Again, put that guy on the stage. Have Sander do it from the stage.
Yeah.
Why not? That's the reasonable way to do it.
Yeah.
Because we were all facing the stage anyway. the whole area was set up so that when you were playing, you were kind of like an audience looking at that stage.
Yeah, and one last thing to note there is that it was a little bit weird because they had 2 streaming tables, and the production of those was absolutely great. It was really, really good. There was, I mean, if you haven't
had
seen,
to go up there.
Yeah, if you haven't seen, so you went through the drill of showing hands, and they had like it was really, really well done. And the only thing that I have that was a little bit weird was when it came to the top 8, why they couldn't fit 4 tables on the stage. It was like the stage was what, 30 meters times 15 or whatever.
Yeah, like I was sitting at one of the tables and I could not hear anything going on the other table. Like there were 5 at each table. There were 5 people plus a camera guy, and there's a guy moving around with a dolly camera. That I've done that. That makes sounds, but there was nothing. I couldn't hear any of what was going on there.
But until that's actually happening in that situation, you don't always know, because the worst thing would be is if you tried to fit 4 tables on there and you could hear each other.
How
Yeah,
would that
but
be bad? You do that all the time during the competition. You're sitting
Yeah.
a centimeter from the next guy.
Yeah.
It's not a problem. Even if
But
we
the
would
only-
have heard each other, it wouldn't have been a problem.
Yeah.
like it's fine if you're looking at like okay, we're streaming 2 tables. I mean, that's fine. But the weird thing became that you got this huge stage which everybody's focusing on for the top 8, and then you have 2 tables there, and the other 2 tables, they're pretty much sitting in a cupboard
you.
over there.
Yeah. Yeah, they're really just on the floor next to us.
And you're like,
by
oh,
the
what are
judges'
these?
table.
Are these casual? What are these casual guys? No, they're also part of the top 8. Oh,
It's really weird. And
so
again,
yeah.
for
Yeah.
integrity, like when you come to the top 8, you have teammates and people circling around that could just stand next to the people playing at those 2 tables. Whereas if you're on the stream, you're very isolated. So like for those that don't know, when you're at the streaming table, first they just grab you from the regular table and you get to go behind. You get a lot of extra time because the first thing, they check your deck for sleeves. So you check your sleeves so they don't have anything print on it, and then you check your t-shirts or your shirt. So you get a shirt from them. If there's anything printed on the shirt you're wearing, you get a shirt from them, because, and this is all Lucasfilm. So Disney will not have anything that could be that's not under their control. You can have a pattern maybe on a shirt. Can't have
but no logos or
no
any
logos, no images, no nothing. And that's just because of like they can't know everything. Like they can't know what every image or anything means. So just to not have someone come up with something that's controversial, and
But
also
safe than sorry.
Exactly. So like I had a band T-shirt on, and obviously it's not a problem. The band doesn't have any controversies, but they can't know that. They can't know every band that's ever existed. So they just give you a T-shirt, and you get those T-shirts. And I found out I didn't just get one T-shirt, I got 2 T-shirts. So like I got 2 T-shirts, but I had to wear one of their T-shirts, and they checked my sleeves, so there was no art sleeves. I had actually 1 colored sleeve, so that was fine. But for those that had art sleeves, they just got sleeves from them, and you got those.
so that's why everyone had the same sleeves sometimes.
Yeah. If you were using art sleeves,
unless you already had the Game Genic art sleeves.
Game Genic sleeves were fine, and then also like 1 color is fine, but anything else you had to change. So once that all done, you get a brief on how the procedure is going to take place, and then you get up on the stage. So each of us players and they teach us how to roll the dice for the camera. So you had to practice rolling the dice, and then you have 1 guy standing behind you with an iPad or something, a pad of some sort, just checking your hand. Like every card you draw, you show it to that guy, and then when you resource, you show what you're resourcing, and they just have a pad where they sort of track all the cards, and that's what you saw.
I was noticing that.
That's what you saw on screen. And then there was a 3rd judge, just responsible for the game state as well as keeping track of damage on the bases. So he also had some kind of pad where he was just putting in all the damage we made to the bases, and he was also the one making sure that we played according to rules. And then there was a cameraman circling with a dolly, and then you had all the cameras that was static, that was just filming our faces and the table, the top-down camera. So the production was just insane. Behind the scene, there was a full TV studio, like the ones you would see from a newsroom. Like when you see like a newsroom thing, there were at least 3 people standing by walls of screens, like, these 12 screen walls. 3 people doing that by 3 different such stations, and then there was like a full office space of other production people just doing graphics and doing everything. It must have been.
And then
like,
you had and then on top of that, in front of the stage, you had You had
Cameraman.
this cameraman with the huge arm with the weight, and then
Yeah.
you also with sort of the flying camera,
Yeah.
and then you also had 3 people doing audio for the
Yeah.
what's going out.
For
so
the
you had
room.
three sound technicians just
And
for
you
the room
And
out.
you had a full set of light engineers, the same you would have had at a rock concert. You had full light board as well.
Talk about overproduction for this sort of
the
event.
production
It was
was
crazy.
Do you know which light board it
insane.
was?
It was.
Do you know which light board it was at all?
Yeah, no, I didn't go up there.
I used to be a lighting designer.
Yeah, no, I didn't go up there.
That's immediately where my
I
went to.
I didn't go up there, but it was
was
a really good looking one. I've seen
Nice.
a lot. I've been a roadie, so I've seen a lot of some.
Did it have a big yellow ball?
No, I didn't see a yellow ball, but it looked really, really professional. The whole thing was insane. Like the production values were insane, and from where I was tracking, we couldn't even see the commentators. Like the 3 commentators were in a completely different room somewhere else doing the commentating, and I'll bet there were quite a few people in that room as well. So the production values here, they
all cheering you on.
Yeah, no, they spared no expenses. They spared no expenses for the production here, and it shows. Like it looks insanely good.
Yeah. Nice, cool. Well, how did you guys actually get on with your with your run then? Jakob, Victor's been going on about his streaming experience, so I can ask you, what date did you take, and how did you actually do in the main tournament?
Yeah, I was pretty fixed. I would say 3 weeks before the tournament that I was going to play Mother Talsin with the Red Force base. And felt very confident that it was a good meta call. It was a very, very strong deck, and felt really good about it. Felt good going into the tournament. We started the morning with Viktor running around the Venetian to try to find breakfast for us, and he did. He found some magic burritos. They were spicy chicken burritos, something that you would with spicy fries.
Obviously, insane amounts of fries.
I would say it was not something that I would have for lunch. It was maybe not something I would have for dinner. It would probably be something that I would have after a night out on my way back during the nighttime.
It was definitely full of food.
Oh, but Jakob, they were the best meals.
Yeah, for sure.
When you're 20, when you're 20, they're the best meals.
Yep.
Yeah. So it was a meal like that, and it was good. I mean, Viktor, you stuffed it.
Mine kicked in.
I threw half of mine away. Because I couldn't do it. But it's an important detail. Make note. It's an important detail. So I started my tournament playing against Han 2 Green, which I'm not going to go into details. Me and Viktor had about a 2.5 hour discussion about this in Vegas. If somebody's interested in hearing my opinion about swingy effects in Star Wars Unlimited at this time, I'd love to have that discussion, because that's one of the things that I don't particularly like about Star Wars Unlimited right now. So there was to give a little bit of context, there was a Gungi General's Blade play, and I didn't have my power of the dark side. So it was this, it happens, he wins. If I have power of the dark side, I win. And then, he sort of followed up on the second game, just doing some plays, and I lost that, obviously. Second game, I played against Han 2 Blue, so there's a lot of Han 2. I ended up first 4 rounds playing Han 2, and I lost a coin flip all 4. And so I went 0-2. Felt pretty terrible. But then I think that magic burrito started to kick in. So after the 0-2, if I'm not mistaken, I pretty much had win and in. Yeah, I pretty much had win and ins for 6 games in a row, right? Because I needed to go 6-2 to make day 2.
Yeah.
So I won 5. I went from 0-2 to 5-2. And then my last round, I played Sabine Nabath Village, which is the yellow base 27 base.
The one where you get 9 cards.
Yep.
and Don't Mulligan. Yeah.
And he won one, I won one, and then we went, down the line in the third one, and I had him for one action for lethal, and he claimed and showed me that he top decked a surprise strike for the win. So I lost 1-2 in my last win and in to go 5-3. So I had 5 really, something happened. The magic burrito kicked in, went 5 in a row.
Whenever you say the magic burrito kicked in, it sounded like you needed to run to the bathroom.
It wasn't, but I probably should have.
But in the good sense, it kicked.
Oh, for sure. For sure.
You got the energy flowing,
for sure.
The luck flowing out of the magic.
Yeah, and I had some awesome matchups during that run of going 5-0.
Yeah.
I beat the living crap out of a Sabine ECL 2-0. I beat the new Kylo ECL in a very, very nice manner of doing a perfectly placed planetary bombardment for the win. Like I had like super nice plays during that run. It was just a little bit sad to be one action lethal to going 6-2 and playing in day 2. So that was my day 1. Do you want to talk, Victor, about your day 1?
So my burrito kicked in immediately. I just went out there and I didn't drop games. I started out going 5-0, dropping only one game in the mirror, and it was an actual absolute mirror. I brought Anakin, and I went second round. I faced a Anakin Blue, and like he did take one game off of me. He actually got initiative. He won the die roll, so he got initiative, but I beat him anyway. And then he got initiative obviously again for second game, and then I drew a little bit poorly for my opening, so I only had a 2 drop, didn't have any 3 drops, didn't see anything worth playing on second round, and he got that game. And then I beat him in the third game, and then I just kept beating everyone 2-0 up for 5 straight rounds. And those that flew with us claimed that me and Adam had a full 9-hour podcast on the flight over. And that podcast, if that is what you want to call it, was basically me and Adam talking about the piss poor matchup that is my Anakin deck into Quinlan.
Did you record it?
We did not.
You should have recorded
it.
Yeah.
And we were basically theory crafting answers to how could I play around that and what cards I could bring in and so on, because I hadn't finalized my deck at that point. So I had some ideas and went 5-0 and sits down across from a guy showing Quinlan. At that point, I made my mistake. I made the error of thinking that being 5-0, I just want to win one more game instead of just drawing 3. And I thought, like, maybe I can draw here, but how can I know that everyone else will draw afterwards? But the truth, obviously, is that after I draw with that guy, it's a very slim chance I will face anyone but other people that has 5-0-1. Because there's only one guy that can ever be down paired. So the risk of actually being paired into someone that doesn't want to draw is almost 0. So obviously,
just to clarify, you needed to have 18 points, which is 6-2, or 5-0-3, so 5 wins and 3 draws.
Yeah. So I should have obviously offered a draw to this guy, but I did not, because I thought, like, how can you know that you're going to get 3 draws in a row? I said, be better play. We're in a good situation. Even though at that point I knew he was playing Quinlan, which was a terrible matchup.
Tarkentown?
Yeah.
And I mean, to be honest, I mean, how can you blame yourself when you've been going on such a hot streak, just losing one game in that 5-0 run, and then you're up to the fact that you need to win 1 out of your next 3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what happens is obviously he beats me fair and square. He's really, like, I don't know how good a player he actually was, but with that deck against my deck, he's not losing to me. He's going to beat me every time.
It's so quick.
He was from what I could see, was a really good player. I don't know if that's a fact, but from the matchup and what was happening, he did nothing wrong. He drew crazy. Like, he drew in the first game, he saw, I think it was 2 blasters and 1 surprise strike. and before resource round 5, and that's game. And then second game, which is on stream, he draws 2 blasters and 2 surprise strikes. There's nothing I can do to that. It's like
So was this your stream game?
Yeah. But I only got game 2 stream. We were the backup stream.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
So that happened, and I didn't feel too bad about it. He was really good with that deck, and the matchup is just crap. So I was like, fine. I hope I get some better matchups. Sit down for round number 7. I have 2 more winning ins. I'm fine. Sits down. It's a Palpatine. And in testing, I've never taken a game off a Palpatine with this deck. It's just not happened. My testing into Palpatine has been like, if I try to make this deck actually beat Palpatines, I'm going to start losing to everything else. So it's not going to happen. I'm just going to have to dodge them. And there he is. And he starts laughing when he sits down. He's like, I used to be an Anakin player. All the players in my group play Palpatine. I've known this matchup. I'm so sorry. You have no chance. And I said, yeah, no, that's probably fair. I actually...
Do you want to take a draw?
I actually take a game off of him. I've never taken a game off Palpatine. I do. I think honestly that I was way better player than that guy. It's just a piss poor matchup. I couldn't take 2. And then for the last round, I sit down against Kylo DV, which is also a really, really hard matchup. You and me, Jakob, were testing for that. You actually helped me improve that matchup a little bit, but it's still a very, very hard matchup. And he played it really controlly. I did take a game off of him, but he took 2 off of me. And so 3 winning ins, all 3 really, really poor matchup.
Man.
To be the way he played that game, the Kylo player, he might have just been really tired or something, but he made so many play mistakes. I wouldn't be surprised if I was the clearly better player out of the 2 of us.
Yeah,
it was a really, really bad matchup.
Yeah,
it was rough to see where you had one chance where you were playing regional governor, where you could have named a different card, which could have given you a certain percentage higher of winning, and then but you're at the stage of where you've already played 7 rounds, and then you're on to your 8th round. You need to make the right decision. That's when you need the refill of the magic burritos, right? To get the regional governor named correctly. So, but I mean, it was. We had totally different experiences, me and Viktor. We ended up with the same result, but Viktor was steamrolling in the beginning of the day and just needed one more win, and I was fighting for my life pretty much full day. So it was sad to see Viktor. Like, I knew when I was 0-2 that my chances of going here to day 2 they're so slim. But for Viktor, when you were at 5-0, we were like, yes, we've got somebody more into day 2. Like, you were so close, and that was so terrible to see.
Just hit the burnout.
Burnt
out at the end. Oh, I'm so sorry. That must so painful to.
It was painful. I was really, really sad about it the whole evening. But by the next day, so a couple of things. Like, the best part of the Galactics for me was finally getting to meet all these people that I've interacted with online with the game. Like, so many people that I've played with from all over the world, but also so many people that helped out with the content I'm working on for the Nordic Takedown. And to finally meet all these people that I've built decks with online was just amazing. And this is one of those interactions. So when I did get knocked out there at the final round, I was talking to some people, and Carlos, the Yoda killer from the Bothan Network, he just came up to me. He's like, "You're just gonna let go of that. You're gonna play the Galactic Open tomorrow. It's gonna be so much fun. You're gonna do so well. Just bring a new deck or bring the same deck, but just forget this happened. This is not what's going to define your experience at the Galactic. Just let it go, man." And like that, he didn't have to encourage me. He didn't have to talk to me. Like, having these people that you've only written with and maybe played a couple of games with come up and give you support, and like being so friendly and so warm, that's really where it's at. That's why we love this game, and why the Galactic was an amazing experience, and just being cheered on by people that are so much better at the game than I am, and already had a day 2 buy and everything, and just like getting that. No, just start over. Don't let this define your experience. Bring a new deck, or bring the same deck, but do enter the Galactic Open and do that. And that's how I made up my mind to actually play in the Galactic Open the day 2. You did not, Jakob. You didn't play the Galactic Open.
Yeah, I was I was really tired. I was feeling after that run, having basically a gun to my head for 6 rounds. I was feeling very, very tired. I had also been at a work conference.
I don't blame you at all. Like, I'd feel that at all, just the pressure. Yeah.
It was terrible because I was, as I said, I was at a work conference, the days before, and flew into Vegas, the night before the day 1, and I felt just absolutely knackered. I was so tired. So, I was registered for the Open, but when I arrived there on the morning of that day 2, and in parallel of the Open, I just decided, nope, I'm going to talk to some people here and see if I can convert the registration just to side event tickets instead. And then I used the side event tickets that I had to just, I'd like to grind drafts instead and just go through the Connect area, see if I can find, because, obviously I played the Game of Thrones game, and the Danny Schaefer, who's the lead designer, he was the guy who helped me out when I got 2 card designs for that game. So I've been working alongside him for designing cards 10 years ago. So I just wanted to see, can I just find these people and just, have a chat? So I used the day 2 or the day of the Open to basically instead hang around. I played in 4 or 5 draft pods, I think, and most of the day I hung out together with Alan from Norway.
Nice.
Who's also a friend of the pod.
Guy.
Yeah, and we just had a great, we grinded like 4 draft pods, and we did not have the same experience as everybody else had with these side events, because the draft pods were just on the demand. You didn't need to stand in the queue. So we finished a draft pod, went over, found another 5 or 6 or 7 people, and like, let's do it again.
Nice. Yeah.
So, and I talked to Caleb Grace, who people might know is the designer of Lord of the Rings, the living card game. He's also designed looking at your bookshelf, Jason, he designed the Star Wars deck building game.
And was one of the lead designers on Conquest as well.
Well, yeah, Conquest. He's done Marvel Champions. So, I'm not sure what he is. The only thing that he's credited for right now that he's working on is the Star Wars deck building game. But, he's been, and I spoke to him for, like, I'm not kidding, for a good hour. And we were discussing things, and I was, just talking about, like, because I played lots of Lord of the Rings living card game as well. I just love the puzzling of what the game is. And he's designed, like, 150 scenarios for that one. I just had a great time during like that Saturday. Like, I was grinding whatever I wanted to do, and I hung out with people, met people, and then by the end of the day I had got all of the tickets that I wanted to buy the stuff that I wanted on the price wall, and there was no queue. I just walked up there with Alan, and we just picked and pointed at the play mats and the cards. And I know I'm making you jealous now, Jason, but my favorite one.
Don't tell me you got the what? No,
that is the Chimera. That is the Chimera playmat.
I know this is audio, but I got the Chimera playmat, and
the only playmat that I think I've ever wanted from. Oh, man.
You know what I want to play Thrawn? Why do I not want to play Thrawn? But I know a lot of people grinded to get the showcases. I'm not sure, Victor, did you get the showcases in the end?
No, I didn't even try.
To me, I got the tickets to get the showcase, but pretty much nothing else. Maybe like one card or something. And then I just realized, well, I'm not here to to sell stuff. Like that's not what the main stuff. Why I'm doing this. So, like,
but you are going to stay with that, Matt. No,
I'm gonna stay with this, Matt. If you're not making me an offer, if you're not putting a horse head in my bed,
an offer you can't refuse.
But
do you know what?
I am in Malmo.
I will put a cow's ass in your
Fair enough.
And you'll know it because it'll be nice and warm.
Very nice, very nice. How many Fahrenheit?
100, wasn't it?
So I got 2 play mats. I got a set of all of the cards that you could buy on the price wall. So I got that, and I also managed to buy a full playset of Super Laser Blast, which were run out by Saturday evening, which we didn't realize.
Ooh.
So for everybody who was not doing what I was doing, and used the tickets, they were out, and you couldn't find them, and they were cheap on the price wall. But if you look at card markets and stuff, they're like 150 euros each. Which is like stupid. So my experience is absolutely the opposite of a lot of the people that had a really, really bad side event experience. But I had a great time.
So if you count the Galactic Open as a side event, which I think you could, I too had a very good experience. So me and you, we've been playing games forever together, and we work sort of the same way. We'd like to bling out things sometimes, but that's not really important to either of us. We really just want the cards to play with, and nice playmats always. That's the only thing I wanted from the wall, really, was to get one of the nice playmats, and then sure, I can get some fun art, but in the end I didn't care for anything else at the play wall, and the tickets weren't really what I was looking for. I was there to play the game, and I think Galactic Open was my best venue to do that. I like Premiere, I liked the way, I liked my deck, it did perform, so I wanted to give it another shot, and I'm so glad I did. I started out going 0-2 because I faced some really good competition with one Mother Talsin and one Han 2 Blue, and 2 really good players. And we went 2-1. There were close games, really close games, both of those. And I didn't feel bad about it. I was just chill. I was just happy about the whole thing. And then from there on, I did the submarine, and the Galactic Open was not an 8-round event. It was a 9-round event, and you needed 7 wins to get to day 2. So I just won 6 in a row from there on. I just submarine all the way to that last round where I was like, shit, I've got an winning in again. I had such a great time. I shouldn't have been there, though. I shouldn't have been there. When my 4th round was actually supposed to be a draw. But this is like, all the games I had that day were against incredibly nice people. I had 9 rounds of just tremendous fun. Almost every game when I sat down and rolled out my Nordic Takedown playmat, people are you with the Nordic Takedown? Are you that Viktor? Yeah, I am. That's like how almost every round opened. At the 4th round, we play and we stall out into 1-1. And the 3rd game is underway. It's mid, and I look at it and I see there's no way that we're going to finish this in time. I just don't want to lose before time. So I didn't slow play, but like the last round before time was called, I definitely stalled it. I played to make him not be able to beat me rather than try to find an out, because I knew we weren't going to finish it. And time was called, and it's a guy, his name is Rigo. He's from Arizona, Phoenix, and he just looks at me, and we just like, the judge says, is this a draw? And I was like, I guess. Like, it was very disappointing because I knew I was out of the tournament at that time, and he knew too as well. And he just looked at me and he's like, I'm going to give you this one. You came all this way from Sweden. I'm just going to give you this one. Make me proud. And he conceded. And that's like, I know some people have issues with this whole thing. I just think that's such a great thing. Like, this guy, Rigo, if you're listening, you're a great person. Like, I know other people might say that you didn't do a total, like Adam has always argued that conceding to someone is not nice because blah, 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 blah. I don't agree. I think Rigo was a tremendous guy. He was such a nice guy.
But Victor, that's why we do this podcast, so
Right.
that when people meet us, they give us the win when we draw.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
That was the number one reason I founded this podcast. Adam was in disagreement, so we decided not to talk about it ever again. But that's why we did. No, I'm joking.
To be fair, he was one of those that didn't say that he knew the podcast at all. I'm not sure he was aware of the podcast at all.
Fair enough.
But he certainly was a very nice guy. I had a great time playing him, and he did something that he didn't have to do, but he felt like he knew I came all the way from Sweden, and he thought like, you keep going.
Yeah. So you shook his hand. You shook his hand, and you said, "Thank you for not being a cow's ass."
Yeah, basically. And that's just one of the amazing interactions I had that day.
Yeah.
We had another, like a way later, like maybe around 7, 8, 9 somewhere. I beat this Han 1 deck, Han 1 green deck, space deck.
Oh wow! Yeah.
And I think I did 2-0 against him, or maybe it was 2-1. I can't remember. But he was with the crew, the Phoenix Squadron from Arizona as well. And the whole crew came over, and he's like, this is the Nordic Takedown guy. And they were like, oh yeah, we love that. And there was like a whole thing. And this guy is he's beating me so bad. He's really good. and then at that time, Nicholas and Kevin came over, and they're like, no, he's not very good. He's pretty poor. Like, no, seriously, he's really good. Like, no, we know him. He's not very good. It was such a fun
It's what they do to you.
Yeah.
It's what they do to you.
It's why you have such good friends like that, right? Bring you back down to earth.
It was such a great time. It was so much fun. There were so many people that came up and said hi and just told us how much they love the podcast, how much they love the stuff we do. And that was just amazing. And then, sure. By the time the Open finished, we went over to the prize wall, and there wasn't all that much left. But I don't care. I didn't need Super Laser Blasts. I've got them already. I just grabbed a few things I like, and then I bought some packs for it. I don't care. I just want to have a great time, and I did. I had such a great time.
You could have got me a playmat though.
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah. I opened a couple of Carbonites that had no legendaries. It was really, really bad Carbonites I opened. Yeah. Anyway,
you shouldn't buy Carbonite packs in the US. That's what we learned.
Clearly.
Yeah. Oh man.
On a
That's
thing
amazing.
Like it sounds like we're defending everything that went on here, and we don't really. We're just saying that people had different experiences. I know, and I don't want to invalidate everyone that felt that they got screwed over by the ticket system. And there are certainly room for improvement here. I hope that FFG has been listening to all of the dissenting voices. I'm just sad that so many people went over there and came from that event with a sour feeling. I feel that it was such a great event, and it was so many amazing people there, that makes me sad that so many people that I actually like came off of that being more unhappy with the things that were bad than happy for the things that were good.
Yeah.
I think, I totally agree with that. I think we might be, just to make things clear, we might be a minority, you and me, Victor, in the way that we see things as this type of event. Like, and I understand the point of view as well, is that you shouldn't be punished for doing well in a tournament. We went 5-3. Like, I went 5-3 day one. If I would have made day two, I wouldn't have had the same experience. Obviously, I don't know if I had made day two, would have made day three. I don't know. But because I didn't make day two, it opened up the possibility of hanging out with some of the people that I hadn't seen in a very long time. And, it set the scene for me to have a really good experience. It's sort of like an off day instead. So,
but that's the value of putting community first in choosing how you want your experience to be in such a game. Like, if you put community first, then you make the most out of the time that you have in these places, the time that we have with people, the time we have, in our lives. You can go and you can be sad about stuff, or you can go and make the most of what there is, because this is the first time that FFG have done something this big. Like, no one knew, they probably weren't expecting when the game was released that the first Galactics would be this big.
They've said as much, so no, they didn't.
And
so
I actually
it's catching up the whole time to be like, hey, we didn't have the infrastructure to do this, but if you stop and try and build the infrastructure and stop the train rolling, then you're at risk of losing too much. So you've got to be playing catch up, and now they've got the opportunity to respond next year for the second one.
Yep, for sure.
Sorry, Jacob, I cut you off.
No, I was just going to say that since I flew back the morning after the event ended, whereas Viktor and the rest of the guys continued their journey in the US, I was flying through Minneapolis, where Roseville, where FFG had that's where they have their headquarters. So conveniently enough, there were lots of FFG people on the same flight as me. So
nice.
I was sitting next to the head of studio of Fantasy Flight Games in the gate, and I was just looking over. We were having breakfast, and I was saying I was having a small chat with him and saying thank you for the weekend. And I was like, was it what you expected? I asked him, and he said, well, for one, it was great. It was exhausting, but they had expected maybe 2,500 people to come there. And I think that he said something along the lines of the head count was between 3,500 and 4,000 people coming to the event. So they had never done anything like this before. They didn't know that this was this many people coming, and they were working their cow's asses off the whole weekend to make sure, the people on the floor of the event were not to blame for the stuff that was not working. They were doing a great job.
And you'd see people that, like, from the head of the studio of FFG running around giving people on the floor coffee. Like, do you need anything? You'd see head of studio do that. You'd see Gensh, what's her name? Like head of OP.
That
she was running around all day, just trying to help out wherever she could. And you'd have all these people that it's not their job to bring coffee to people, but they tried. They tried to get things to work.
That's the difference between the good organizers and I guess the organizers that panic too much when something goes wrong. Like the Oslo PQ that we were at, I think it was at Midgard as well.
Yep.
We had like an hour-long thing where Melee. It was the first time Melee was used and stuff like that, and Matthias was on the phone with us, and he got Melee actually involved to help fix it and stuff. It was a 45-minute wait. The owner of the shop was walking around giving out OP packs and stuff like that. Oh, we've got another 15 minutes. We'll get another box of OP packs and started giving them out and stuff like that, just to make sure people. He was so committed for this being a really, really good event, and did everything possible to say, okay, it sucks. Can we get going? Okay, that's fine. More OP packs for everyone.
I mean, it might be that I'm making a too quick of a conclusion of what we're talking about, but I am a firm believer that we have this community, and I think, Viktor, you agree that we've had these types of communities with FFG's card games before, because there's no direct prize money. People can say, you can sell these cards. You can sell these playmats. They are worth this and this much money. You can say that. However, there is no prize money involved. So
you can't go.
That's the reason. Like, you can't go pro with this. There's no pro tour.
No.
So this is I would say one of the main reasons why I would never play Flesh and Blood. Why I would never compete in Magic. It doesn't correlate to my values, and it doesn't work for me. So maybe it's once again too quick of a conclusion, but I think the community is sort of driven around the fact of that.
Yeah, Jacob, I'm right with you that, like, it was the same with Keyforge. Like, it was I think Keyforge was my first big card game, and the community, it really sold me for these card game communities, and being there as a community builder, and doing everything we can to support that, because that was just, it was so friendly. It was very different from what people heard of from Magic and other card games, of people having really bad attitudes and everything online. I never experienced that with Keyforge. I haven't experienced that at all with Star Wars. And I remember actually when it was before the pandemic, when they announced the first World Championship, and this was before the pandemic hit and they lost the algorithm with the ransomware attack, and all went yeah. And they actually announced that they were going to do their first competition, and it was going to be a prize. It was going to be prize money for the thing. And the discussions around that was like, okay. People are like, oh, wow, this is taking this seriously. At the same time, FFG have never done that before. This was the first time. And then the pandemic hit, the game closed down, and I'm just wondering how that was taken higher up there. Because I heard that it wasn't that popular within FFG to have prize money in a game. I don't know. That was just some rumors that I heard. But the guy that announced it didn't work there that much longer.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if this is true or not, but I've heard that the reason that this is because of Disney or because of Lucasfilm. That's the reason why.
Lorcana can't do prize money either. It's part of
so I mean I mean, even if FFG wanted to do prize money, they couldn't do it. Yeah. But it's not. I mean, it doesn't need to be a discussion about if FFG wants to do it or not, because it's a no. They won't ever do it. So I think this is why I see lots of my old friends who were competing playing the Game of Thrones card game who've been jumping into this, because you sort of see the same type of community sort of driving this game as well. So it's a little bit of a sidetrack of the discussion, but I really like to emphasize that the community is what makes this.
Is that, and I think we that can have this view, we've got the opportunity to be more positive and just help other people. Actually, but this was, it had issues, but it could have been a lot worse. They did a really good job where they are.
I mean, the actual
we're back in Vegas next year. Which is another thing which other people have also been commenting on. Like I think people were hoping they would come over to Europe. As well, but we were talking about this a little bit beforehand. Are they contracted there for another 2 years in Vegas or 1 year?
We're just guessing. We sort of these types of things, especially with the huge venues that they got. It seems like they're probably in agreement to do this on a 3 or 5 term basis.
They have announced 2 years, so for the next 2 years, it's going to be Vegas. And actually, I think staff actually expressed some grief to Adam about that. He talked to Schaefer. And they wanted to have one in. They were kind of to him. It sounded like so we don't get to go to Europe. They wanted to go to Europe for it. So it's definitely something that there are people in the FFG OPE team that would like to put something in Europe. But at least for the 2 upcoming ones, it's going to be Vegas. And for American reasons, it makes a lot of sense.
I mean, it's terrible. It's terrible to do it in the end of July because of the heat reasons and all of these things. However, for people that don't know, Vegas is not expensive for Americans. It is cheap to fly there. It is relatively cheap to stay there. And it's actually a place where people with families go for vacation in America.
As weird as that is, but yes.
As weird as that may sound, because of sort of the gambling and the strip and all of that, it's a place where people go.
But
with
you've
families.
got the Grand Canyon there, don't you? And everything as well. So that's like the.
But maybe we're not talking about the families who want to hike. Maybe more the families who just want to go and eat, and I don't know.
Yeah.
But with that said,
just to defend, because yes, it would be amazing to have it in Europe. I'd probably have a chance to get there and be able to get use my summer to go. But as an event, and this is coming from me, someone coming from theatre production and big event production, having the first event somewhere and then having to move it somewhere else having to relearn the stuff again. They've had it already here. If they're using the same venue, they're already halfway there.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah.
For
It
sure.
makes a lot of
They
sense.
can they can. I'm really trying not to carry on with the Bon Jovi song here. They're already halfway there. They can carry on and make it better and improve on what they've already done, and not have to reinvent stuff because they're already there. Then they can perfect it, do it well, and then we can then go and take another venue.
Yeah. No,
Yeah, they're not doing a
Um,
road show. They're not
no.
doing a road show of this.
No,
It's
exactly,
definitely
yeah.
for sure. This is
And
the
you've gotta-
only. This is the only tournament, even though we're talking about regionals, sectors, etc. This is the only tournament that Fantasy Flight Games are doing.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
other ones are
Exactly, yeah.
under
Other-
another organized play.
Yeah.
And then maybe next year or the year after, then they've got the opportunity. They could do it in Malmo as Malmo Game Week, and that could be the Galactics there. That would be really, really good for us. FFG, if you're listening, it's a good option. I'm just saying.
We're open to
Copenhagen.
We
can stream it. We can stream it. It'll be good.
We're open to potentially move the SWU Open if it conflicts the scheduling.
Yeah,
it's up to discussion.
We can do the SWU Open instead of the Galactic Open, and have the main Galactic Championship. And
as long as Jason can get a Chimera playmat, we're all good.
So
yeah.
No, but
yes, that's exactly. But okay, guys. But we talked about people who've had a good time, people who hadn't had a good time. Next year, like who should go? What are the type of people that should be going to these events? Who should commit to going to these events to have a good time?
So we said that it's kind of cheap for Americans, but any way you look at it, it's not cheap. It is going to cost you a lot of money. It cost us a lot of money to do this, and I think that you need to be aware of that. You need to sort of you need to know that you have this money to spend on it, and this is your vacation. So this is, or you find a way to do it through work like you did, or you find a way, or maybe you win something really big so FFG pays for it like Adam did. But for the way I did it, it costs a lot of money. Even though we're staying at hotels that are inexpensive comparably, it's still a lot of money. It is. So you need to have that. You need to know that, and you need to take the time. You can't rush it because of jet lag and everything. You either need to come like a week in advance so that you can sleep off the jet lag, or Adam hypothesized that maybe you could just go straight into it so that you're not really jet lagged. You're just weird. I don't know. No. I don't think that's a good idea, but just make sure that you sort of, because we arrived on the Tuesday and started playing on Friday, and a lot of us felt the jet lag a lot still. So maybe come in on the Friday before, so you get a full week ahead. It's going to cost,
which makes it just it's a 9-hour time difference for us in Sweden. So I mean, it's pretty terrible.
Yeah,
and there's no way to cheat the system. There's no way. Either you start when you're at home to move the hours around. Maybe that's one way, but it's definitely, it could be a disadvantage. And I'm looking at you, Jason. Like, if having a family, it's just terrible. Like, I mean, it doesn't really work. It's
I mean, that's it. It definitely doesn't, especially when we have the other things that we need to do in the summer. I live in Sweden. My parents live in the UK. My family live in the UK, so I want to go and see them as well. They need to come and see us.
Yeah,
I can't just take 2 weeks off during my summer, and my kids are at an amazing age at the moment, and also an age where, like, I'm really enjoying spending time with them. Not that I ever didn't enjoy, but you know what I mean. Like, like family is a bigger priority to me more and more at the moment. So I don't see myself ever, unless I can convince them to come with me.
Oh, but it's
which isn't going to happen.
So it's a huge commitment. It's a huge commitment, time wise, because you will not perform unless you're somebody like a Polish robot like Beton. You will probably have a hard time playing at your best at this tournament as well. That's one thing that you need to think about if you're not well adjusted. And then it's expensive, like Viktor was saying as well. So it's a commitment on several different aspects.
So if you're contemplating going, you need to know of these things, and you need to know that this is the price, and I think it's worth that price to get to play the game. And that's it.
Yeah.
You should not expect anything else than to get to play the game a lot and at a level that you might not be used to. Next year, you have to qualify to get into the main event. So it's virtually the same. Like the Friday will just be a last minute qualification tournament.
We don't know if that means there's, you can go 6-2, or you need to get those last few points that you
we don't know what that means. But there's probably going to be some kind of tournament that is open for everyone on the Friday, and if you do well enough, you can still make it into the main event. But if you want to do, like, arguably you should be qualified for the main event. If you're going to do the full trip from Sweden there, I think you should be a competitive kind of person that wants to play at that level in the event, and you find all of these costs worth it to experience playing in the event. If you go there with your mindset on becoming the new world champion, well, I guess fine. But if that's the only way you're going to be happy about what you did, that's just insane. You should know that about yourself, that you will be happy about the experience, even if you do not do that well, because having played in the tournament is your goal. If that is not worth it for you, you're probably not going to find the side events and the spectacle of it satisfying enough. I don't think so.
Yeah, and I think one way to look at it is to make sure that you experience the sector and regional stuff. That's not what I did. I didn't attend any of those things in Europe. But if there's something you want to experience, is maybe you'll get a third of what you get at Galactics at maybe the sector or a regional, and you'll have 3 seasons to experience that until the next Galactics. So I'd say, make sure that you plan a trip for one of the European ones instead. It'll be, it's going to cost you
way less.
If the Galactics cost you an arm, it might be just a toenail. Yeah. Something like that.
Yeah.
Wow.
Make sure that you try to experience one of those things to see is it something for you to get in a 1,000 people tournament. Is it something for you, and go from there? But the Galactic seems to be a one-of-a-kind experience, so I really enjoyed the full experience. You get to, you get to play against the designers if you want to. That's pretty cool. You get to see all of these people that you maybe hang out with in the community online.
Yeah.
Those types of things.
Yeah, that's it. I think it's worth it for me. I'm going to do my darndest to get qualified to get into the second event. But whether or not I do, I might go to Galactics next year. If I'm qualified, I'm pretty sure I'm going again. I had such a great time.
Yeah. The thing is, it makes me want to go for that community things that you guys have been talking about for those reasons. Talk to the people that we have been collaborating with. Talk to the people that go with a group of people that I know, and we can have a good time, because it's one of those lifetime experiences that you're always going to remember.
Yeah, and like you said,
I think
that's one key thing that we didn't really mention, is that I went there by myself, but as soon as I went to Vegas, I met up with Viktor and the rest of the Swedish crew, which just, if I would have been there alone the full weekend, I was in the US for nearly a full week by myself before that. That wasn't really, I don't really enjoy that. I'd love meeting up with the guys, and, getting there with a group of people that just makes the experience multiply better.
Yeah. Awesome. That's
That's a good note to end this on, I think.
That's a good note to end on, because we have hit over an hour and a half. However, it's been a really, really nice to hear this and hear your experience and hear the good side of some of the good things that happened there as well. And he's gonna get better. FFG are aware, and I believe they'll make it better. They've improved. They've reacted to everything else so far. They are listening to the community, and can we ask for more?
Yeah, and I think the game has been it's been more successful than they probably asked for and hoped for. So I think they just have to.
Yep. Absolutely. Well, on that note, we are going to say goodbye. We're going to say thank you, Jakob, for giving us your time and giving us your trip down recent memory lane on that as well. So thank you for giving up your time this evening.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
Yep, absolutely, be really good, and you need to come and visit me at my new place as well. You're so much closer now, so it'll be.
I will. I definitely will. And for the rest of the people that listen, that I will be in Malmö, and please come and say hi. I'd like to see more people face to face.
Cool. He lives in a basement right now. That's why he doesn't. His family don't let him out.
I don't see people that much.
But he's got clearance. That's the.
I've got clearance for Malmö. I'll be in a leash. So
it's so important to get that clearance. It is so important.
It is so important. Yeah. And I will be in a leash, however. So if you see somebody with a leash around the neck, it'll be me. So
and it'll be
looking like you should be in a very different part of Malmö. Yep. Maybe not the Cowsfield.
We were so good up until this point. I'm sorry.
Yeah. Viktor, again, thank you very much for co-hosting this with me, and for just a really good episode. Thank you, listener, for sticking with us for the entirety of the episode. And until next week, we say, may the force be with you, and good night.